a message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking it to him. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see,
Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the number one sports betting vibe on the internet, Veterans Minimum. I'm your host, Nick Dais. At Nick Dais Tenors, you can find me. All things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. George,
Yes.
we are back in the building. We've been going to one show a week during the off season now, and as time is wandering, we will be going on a little bit of a vacation throughout the summer. So we have a couple of episodes that are going to pop up here and there, like we do our NFL awards, like we did last year. We'll have that. Then we have a lot of other things that we have planned just to have fresh content going out on the YouTube channel and on Spotify, Apple, all that fun stuff, and on Instagram. Shouts to social media manager George.
We've been
carrying the torch on the socials.
off.
As always, make
We
sure
got-
you guys are following us there.
banned on TikTok again. Means I'm doing my job right. Remember, I
yeah,
said this
brother.
like 3 months ago when they were just like, it was like every week, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, they're banning us because we're good.
Yeah.
This is good. So it happened again this past weekend for whatever, God knows what. I think it was Aaron Rodgers. I don't think they like us talking about Aaron Rodgers. Something like that. But
Hey, a lot of people don't like when Aaron Rodgers is discussed.
dude, there's a new girlfriend. The wedding ring, I think, is the biggest thing to talk about with him once we do get to it, you know, is who is going to be his other half in Pittsburgh. But Nick, how was your weekend, man? You got to see UFC, obviously. Fuck Patchy Mix, right? Like, anything
Yeah.
else from this weekend?
It was a fun weekend. I got a little bit of the stomach issue Friday night going into Saturday, so I didn't watch UFC with the guys that I usually watch with from my gym. Watched it at home, but I hit a bunch of the bets. Shout out to everyone in the Discord and on Patreon. We put out the picks. We had a couple of goodies. George George said he didn't really do that well on the bets, and it's crazy because he's also in the Discord and he also has my number. He didn't ask me what I bet on.
No.
Had a pretty good run. We had a really good run. We had Van by TKO at plus 150. We had Holland by submission at 8-1. We had Harrison by submission plus 225. Then we had Patchy Mix by submission plus 175. We had the subathon, $50 to win 2,200. Of course, the one that's the favorite to hit doesn't hit. Deja vu of the generational parlay that I put, where I had Josh Allen for MVP, Saquon for Offensive Player of the Year, and then I took Marvin Harrison Jr. for Offensive Rookie of the Year. 2 of the 3 hit. $100 to win $208K. I would have been on vacation already, brother, if that would have hit. It's always the one that's the less odds. That's like the favorite, even though
Right.
it's a plus number. That's the one that always crashes and burns. And then Marab, friend of the podcast, has been on the show before, trains out of my gym over at Syndicate. We had him in rounds 3, 4, and 5, 20-1 on Marab to win in round 3. So it was a really good weekend, man. It was a really good weekend. 77-1 odds on the subathon, and we missed it by plus 175.
Has there been another UFC fighter that has made his debut into the UFC and looked absolutely more disappointing than Patchy Mix? I mean, it was unreal, the lack of head movement and the way that he was getting punished in that fight. And minus 210 is what it closed at, and I was just baffled. Can you think of any at the top of your head?
No, I'm going to defend him a little bit. Took the fight on like 3 weeks notice. Mario Batista is a hell of a fighter. He kind of got a lot of heat because in a previous fight, he beat Jose Aldo and like kind of cruised in the last round, was doing a lot of dancing around. So anytime a guy beats a legend, he always becomes public enemy number one. And then when you're kind of like avoiding conflict in the last round, you get even more heat. You're like, oh, this guy's a bitch. He doesn't want to fight, even though he just dominated the first 2 rounds.
Right.
So yeah, look, I just think it was a really weird fight. I don't know if it's nerves. I was talking to some of the guys from the gym that have either trained with him or just being, I was like, listen, I'm not a fighter, right? Why does that happen? Why does someone have such an advantage in one particular field or in one particular martial art, and they don't use it. Yeah, it was very strange, man. It was very strange. I'll tell you this much. We're going to be able to buy really low on Patchy Mix in his next fight.
That's a good point.
So we might get plus 400 on a submission, and we're going to fire away again because he is this amazing grappler, jiu-jitsu practitioner. And I think I'll chalk it up into debut, short notice, and against a tough SOB, man. Mario Batista is a guy who, you know, I don't know about main eventing, but like he might be in a title eliminator. You know, 135 is crazy right now. And we just saw Marab, like we said, he won over the weekend. That was super dope. We had Coach John Wood on a couple of months ago for the Umar fight, and he was saying like, man, we're underdogs as the champ. And then finally, he's being priced in the markets as a respectable champion. So shout out to everyone at Syndicate. Shout out to Marab. And yeah, the Patchy Mix stuff was just, it was really weird, man. It was a really weird fight because, you know, sometimes what happens is your first impression is going to be the lasting impression. It's like everyone's going to be like, oh, this guy's a bum. Back to Bellator he goes. It's like, no, not really. I give him a little bit of a pass. But to your initial question, it was a weird debut for sure. I think both could be true.
Yeah. Not only was it like a weird debut, I think it just highlights the speed difference from a Bellator to a UFC. And whenever you're fighting, I always, in my head as a casual UFC fan, whenever the number is next to the name, you're about to see a level of fighting that you've never seen before. And he got tossed into the fire immediately, which I also don't think is necessarily the best thing for the UFC to kind of try to build a talent like that. I mean, imagine him with a 4-fight win streak heading into fight for a ranked opponent in the top 10. That to me makes more sense promotionally. And I don't know, man. The UFC has so much to keep up with and all these fights to fill, and people always want to make better fights or have cards that are a little more star-studded, and they're at a loss right now. Like the women's division's at a loss. Like the whole Kayla Harrison thing is wild to me, because if Amanda Nunes comes back and beats her, then what happens? Like I'm confused here as a casual as to like women's, the UFC division for women is just lost, other than what, flyweight?
Yeah, flyweight and strawweight, 115ers and 125ers for sure. Those are pretty stacked. Those are really good. But
Can
like,
we start getting some heavyweight chicks, bro?
Well, here's the thing, right?
Let's see it.
135, the talent pool is just so little, and there was a 145 women's division, and it got canned because like, you know, Cyborg lost to Nunez, and those no one really else. Like Amanda Nunez was closing like minus 2,000 against these chicks and just fucking obliterating them. So the UFC was like,
Kayla Harrison's gonna be in her next fight.
There ain't no like real. There's no reason to have it, right? Unless some girl comes out of nowhere and really takes the world by storm, which is kind of what happened with the flyweight division in the men's. Like people forget that like there was a hashtag like save the flyweights, and then Brandon Moreno and Figueiredo were having these like classic battles. So it happens a lot, man. Look, Kayla Harrison, she was someone that came in with a lot of hype and had a debut in the UFC, won it, and then, you know, now she's champion. Michael Chandler also came in, fought Dan Hooker. You know, you have this dude, Aaron Pico, who was like the youngest ever, you know, he was like 19, I think, when he debuted, or 20, and he debuted on Bellator. So like now he's coming into the UFC. He's fighting soon. So look, I just think that there's levels to it like anything, but yeah, to your point, you fight a guy with a number next to the name, it's going to be really difficult, and he got thrown into the fire in a big spot. So I think he's going to be fine. He's still young. He's like 30. And I think it's just the jitters. I think he comes back and he bounces back, and I think we get a better number on him buying low on it now.
No, for sure, dude.
So yeah, that was fun this weekend. George, I went out this weekend, bro. I don't really be going outside, but when I go outside, I'm outside, dude. Like I see the sun come up, and I'm like, I should be home right now. Yeah.
So where did you go? Who were you with? Let's hear it.
Had a couple friends in town from the 305. Shout out to Miami. Yeah. So we went over to, we went to Live. After I told you a couple months ago, I'll never go back to Live. I went back to Live. Pretty quiet, man. Pretty quiet in there.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just down on the end of the strip that nobody necessarily wants to be at.
Yeah, I don't know. And you know what else was funny, man? Like I've always said this. I've never been cheap. Like even when I had no money, I was very like giving and like, I'll pay for shit, you know. Never let a girl pay for anything. 100%. She's with me when I go out on dates, whether it's coffee or dinner. It's like, yo, if I invite you out, don't reach. I got it. All right. I'll appreciate the effort. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God,
how much is it? Like, no, it's cool. Listen, I appreciate the gesture. I know you don't really mean it, but I like being lied to. I'm cool with it. You can lie to me. It's all good. So I've never been like cheap. I hate being scammed. I hate being hustled. I'm not paying $1,200 for a bottle. To me, it upsets me. Like at my core. Now, if it's a celebration, like it was supposed to be the night that George bailed on my birthday, that's different. It's cool.
We would have spent $5,000. You know? You're lucky I stayed home.
That's cool.
Got
if it's an occasion, but if it's a random ass night, I'm not doing it, right? So like, luckily, shout outs to some of the homies I work over at the establishment. They gave me some free drink tickets, and I was boozing, I was chilling, but man, it was pretty dead, bro. It was pretty dead.
What type of music are they playing at Live? Are we getting?
You're playing like
EDM?
Yeah, a lot of EDM, a lot of house music, white people shit, you know? Like, no, I like hip hop, bro. I like hip hop, R&B. You know?
That was the older women crowd. I could always like, I mean, I know that the young kids are going to go crazy, but when you got the old chicks going nuts and, feeling themselves, I feel like that adds to the vibe. Was there cougars on the dance floors?
Yeah, there was actually, it was a elderly crowd. You know what's crazy, bro? I'm 34, right? And sometimes when I go out, I'm like, I'm too old for this shit. And then when I see people that are older than me,
right,
I'm like, I hope I'm never that.
We will be, Nick. We will be.
Listen, the way I'm going, I'm going to be fucking 50 and passport broing it up if I'm not already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be, might be one of those weirdos. You know, I have turned into everything I once made fun of, right? I have an electric car. I drink wine. I'm in bed by like 11 on nights I'm not working.
Bro, you're back to clubbing though. This is great. So you went out to live.
This is the second time I've been out in like a year and a half. So I wouldn't say I'm back to clubbing. I had some friends in town. That's the other thing too. Like if it's an occasion, I don't mind going out.
Right.
But like me and you to go out this Friday to a club because we live in like, nah. I don't understand the fascination of going to see a DJ.
Yeah,
I'm cool,
bro.
Or like even if I go to see, even if it's like an artist, like I'd rather go see you in a concert.
Yeah,
like to go to a concert, I'm cool with that. But to go just because you're at the club, like I don't know.
Because I know if I was a performer and I was going to perform at a club, I wouldn't be giving this is a concert performance. You know what I mean? I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get lit as fuck and I'm gonna lip sing my entire set. And people are going to go ape shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm Waka Flocka Flame. Like, but I would definitely mail it in, bro. You know the checks that those guys get for these fucking weekends? I mean,
listen,
imagine mailing it in for an hour and a half lip sync set while you're just hammered.
Yeah.
Getting 6 figures. Oh my God.
Listen, they get paid well, bro. I might know a couple people that be performing on the weekends. So they get paid handsomely.
For sure.
And, I left from there. I went out went to a adult entertainment establishment. And then when I got home, it was 7 a.m. And I'm like, why is the sun up? You know, then I woke up a couple hours later and I went straight to the gym. The people I was with, they were getting IVs.
Oh, no.
And I find that hilarious.
It's not cool.
Listen, I'll be honest with you, bro. I've partied. I've had a great time. I've broken night many times when I would go out. I've never needed to take an IV because I partied too hard.
Yeah.
You're a loser, bro. In my opinion, like when EDC was here a couple weeks ago, people were getting IVs. Or like you bring someone in to give you an IV because you stayed out late. Come on, man. What are we doing?
You just got hustled. Like they got hustled.
Yeah. We were talking with John in the control room. He was like, yo, it's like $150, $200 you got to take for this shit. Like, nah, I'm cool. Rather put that on
we
a
need
parlay.
we need to have a VM IV bag for all these people, and we just need to fucking cash out on this, bro. Like,
It's not weird to you when people be getting IVs because they partied hard?
you know when you should get an IV? When you're Matthew Dellavedova and the NBA Finals and you're guarding Steph Curry. You go get an IV after that.
Bro, I've made this case so many times when people are like, LeBron lost in the finals. It's like, yeah, the guy who played 23 minutes because he never plays more than 15 needed to get rushed to the fucking ER for IVs because he
was
never,
fighting through screams.
That's what LeBron James had to deal with.
Yes.
And you're like, yo, he lost in the finals. I'm sorry. Fucking carried this loser all the way to the finals. And now he got to get an IV because he played 24 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's a black eye on LeBron's career.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying, bro. But yeah, people like that, like, what are we doing, man?
No, I would never, and I'm not a needles guy. Like, no tattoos on me. I'm not deathly afraid of needles, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Like, I would never willingly just say yes, fucking stick it in my arm, dude.
Bro, so I went, I'm not afraid of needles, clearly, with tattoos, but I went to get blood work last month for the first time since, like, pre-pandemic. Bro, I never knew how much fucking blood they take from you. This nurse filled up like 8 bottles of, it was a lot. But the whole time she was like, do you need to look away? I was like, nah, I want to see it. I want to see it. I remember when I tore my ACL, the needle they put was like that, bro.
I know, Nick.
And the whole time I was just looking, my mom fainted because she came with me. She passed out. She don't do needles. But the whole time I was like, nah, I want to see what's going in there. Let's see what it is. I remember her being like, listen, one of two things is going to happen when we drain your knee. If it's yellow or clear, it's not the ACL. But if it's red, it's the ACL. Bro.
Straight red.
Yeah. Like VM background red. It was fucking, it was rough.
That's fucking disgusting.
But yeah, needles don't bother me. What's like a pet peeve that you have, bro?
Last thing, well, I just have to say, drink a Gatorade. You know, what happened to Pedialyte after a
electrolytes?
Long, just get electrolytes.
All right, a little liquid IV.
What are we doing?
Do we really need to? Is it not a flex though? Is it not even a flex? Is it like a social media
fad? Yeah, and bro, whoever is selling these, you know, I don't know if you just have to be a registered nurse or, I mean, shit, dude, you just got to be good at finding a vein and just hooking up a bag. Let's get into this. Like we can fucking make a lot of money, a lot of parlay money.
Yeah.
That's fun coupons at the end of the day. But you said any pet peeves of mine. Nick, last week I went bowling for the first time in probably like 2 months. And they have now changed bowling from being pay per game to pay per hour. So I have to ask you, every time you've gone bowling, do you pay per the game or do you pay by the hour?
I couldn't even tell you, bro. Last time I went bowling, I think was like January of last year. I went on a date to the bowling alley, which was really fun. Played 2 games. I don't remember if it was per game or per hour. I feel like per hour is a better deal, no?
I mean, yeah, if you want to fucking sweat while you're bowling, then yeah. I mean, so the reason why I'm ranting about this is because I wanted to play just 2 games. That's all I wanted to play. I didn't want to have the illusion that I could play a 3rd game because there's 10 minutes left or whatever, right? Because then I just ended up speed bowling at the end, and we're halfway through this 3rd game, and the fucking lane shuts off. And they didn't even let us finish it, which I thought was bullshit. Because I'm not going to go pay for another 10 minutes. Certainly not going to pay for another hour. Like, just allow me to bowl per game. I don't want to start something that I can't finish. What if I was bowling and I had 6 strikes in a row? I have to go pay for that now. You know what I mean? Like it's bullshit. The bowling alleys are now turning crooked, and I would have never thought I would see the day. And it's unfortunate because first game I bowled, I shot a 175 career high.
Whoa.
Career high. I'm on my way to 200, and then I will have reached like the Mount Rushmore of like white people sports to be good at, to like make yourself feel confident in like after you finish playing sports. Bowling, golf, and now I got to get fishing. If I get good at those three things, then it's like
That's a trifecta of life.
That is just fucking pasty.
Yeah.
Pasty white sports right there.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's my little rant. What are the bowling alleys doing? Making money. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I wish I could chime in more, man. Like bowling is something I'll do. Like, it's a fun like date night.
For sure.
It's a great first date.
Yep.
Right, you get to see if they got any competitive DNA in them.
Yeah.
Do you let them win? Do you like get, you know, like you learn a lot
It's
about
a great
like
test of that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Like I like when I go on dates, I like it being like I don't like doing like dinner dates on the first. Like we'll go eat, but it got to be leading to something. Like let's go to an arcade. Let's go pitch and putt. Let's go bowling. Something where it's fun. You know what I mean?
sure.
Because like I don't want to I want to talk. I'm a professional talker. That's what I tell people. I'm a professional conversationalist. So I want to get to know you. If we're going to go to movies or we're going to do some dumb shit like that, like, nah, I'm cool. And also, like, if I could avoid drinking, you know, I got hammered this weekend, but like, for the most part, I try not to drink. You know, one beer, social, kind of thing like that.
Nick, it's got me sweating right now, this rant. Just thinking about how fucking upset I was at the Santa Fe station for not letting me finish my game.
Criminal acts.
It is criminal. What else from this weekend?
Let's talk about the finals, bro.
Let's hop into it.
I'm ready to talk about the finals. So it's 1-1, heading back to Indiana for game 3. George, if you're a Pacers fan, how are you feeling? Because my take is you're lucky for it to be 1-1. Should have lost both games.
Yeah.
And I don't like how lifeless they were in game 2. That was my big takeaway.
I mean, everybody came at me like viciously in the comments for the social post that I had for my prediction being that the Thunder would sweep this thing, winning every game by double digits. And, you know, obviously game 1 happens and people go crazy about, you know, how I don't know ball. And then I proceed to put in the belt to ass same game parlay that was literally a point off of hitting, which was the Oklahoma City Thunder beating them by the spread in every single quarter, half, and full game. And they were fucking, I mean, Nick, it was a third quarter. They were a free throw off of me hitting this 22-1, which would have been sick. But I am wholeheartedly just going for greatness right now. I'm not making this difficult on myself. Why would I try to paint paths for something that game 2 showed it all? The Pacers, when they try to play their style of basketball, cannot keep the ball in their possession. Every one of those lob passes that worked against the Knicks, that worked against the Celtics, because those teams had no fucking heart to make a hustle play on a pass. The Thunder make every single one of those. There's not a single time that the ball moves around the court that the Thunder aren't disrupting 100% what the Pacers got going on. And the Pacers, a team that tries to move fast. I had said it in the NBA Finals preview, when you zig, you know, you should probably be zagging or thinking about zagging, and they need to slow their pace down and really avoid getting into those dumbass mistakes. Like, you cannot play the Thunder the way that they played in game 2. And Halliburton, ain't no way you got 5 points going into the fourth quarter or the third quarter, whatever the hell it was. He was dormant for the entire game. I think it was the fourth quarter. He was going into the fourth quarter with 5 points. So it was exactly what I had envisioned and predicted. And it was thanks to you for kind of reminding me all throughout this NBA playoffs that the Thunder are different, bro. They're like UConn from men's basketball 2 years ago, where it didn't matter who they got thrown at them, they were going to win. How do you feel? Like, do the pace, because it's 1-1, and I'm definitely still on the side of the Thunder are going to win the next 3 and it's over. But Indiana can be kind of rowdy. I feel like they are a team that when they turn on that physicality, they can be or match the physicality of the Thunder. So what are your thoughts?
So all year we've been told, anytime we brought up the Thunder, they set an NBA record for most double-digit wins this year. And it was funny because obviously I'm tagged on the video of you predicting a sweep. Thunder and 4, Thunder and 5 were the two most heavily wagered picks, bets everywhere, whether it was network television to the sports books. It was the biggest liability. So with the Thunder dropping game 1, obviously it eliminates the sweep. I think in the 79 years in NBA Finals history, there's only been 9 sweeps. So like the percentages don't back 9 or 10 sweeps. I remember seeing a tweet. I should have screenshotted it, but it's 9 or 10 that it's happened, right? So like team is going to get one, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone thought that game 3 would be the one that they would get at home. I still feel that way. I actually like the Pacers in game 3. A bet that I really like that I fired off on today at plus 800. It's series correct order. So obviously you know the results of the first 2, right? So you have game 1 Indiana, game 2 Oklahoma City, game 3 Indiana, then 4, 5, and 6 go to the Thunder. That's 8-1. Kind of like that. Indiana's going to be crazy. It's the first finals game in 25 years. You know that you're going to get the way they got Wiggins and Caruso in Oklahoma City to have those monster games. They combined for 38 points in game 2. It was going to be hard to beat them. I think you see a McConnell, a Obi, even though Obi had a really good game 1, but you see the random bench guys, they might pop off, right? You might get a Ben Shepherd to hit 3 threes, or you might get one of these guys that don't normally perform well when they're on the road. At home, they always say the superstars show up everywhere. The role players play better at home. So I think Indiana is going to win game 3, and you can get plus 190 on them to win game 3. And then I think Oklahoma City bounces back and they sweep the rest of the way. That's how I think the series goes. I think the biggest concern would be the Halliburton stuff, right? And dude, like even game 1, he didn't really play well until he hit the shot, and that's the main takeaway, right? Like you need this guy to be delivering in every set possible. And the one thing I think that the Thunder did, especially in this series, which they didn't do in game 1 really, what they played the 2 big lineup with Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. And then there it looked like Indiana didn't have no answers for them.
Yeah.
Because Chet could space the floor out and he could hit threes, and then Hartenstein is such a hustler down low. Like, dude, we were devastated as Knicks fans to lose him last offseason. We're like, well, I give you $70 million. It's hard to retain this guy.
Right.
And then on the flip side, I mean, staying with the Thunder, not the flip side, you have SGA. SGA has another monster performance, and he sets an NBA record, 72 points through 2 games. It's the most in the first 2 games of a finals ever. And I said it a couple weeks ago. The best bet is him to get 30. I think all but 2 games this playoff run, he hasn't gotten 30. I know you're laying juice because like his point total is 33.5, 32.5. So 30 is probably like minus 170.
Yeah.
But he showed you why he's the MVP, man. And I really think that the NBA Finals, Pacer fans should be happy. It's 1-1 that they stole that game 1, because they legit stole game 1. And then I love this bet, bro. I love this bet. Pacers win game 3, and then the Thunder win 4, 5, and 6 at plus 800. That is one that I've already made. I already made that bet.
I like it. I do like it. I think that tell me, how do you think the Pacers win game 3? Is this a last second buzzer beater, or is this a solid 5-6 point win? They're up throughout.
I mean, bro, if you just look at the Thunder, they lost game 3 to Minnesota, got smoked, lost by like 1,000.
Yeah.
They lost game 3 to Denver. They were down like 25, and then John Morant got hurt. It's a young team on the road, first home game for the other opponent. they're going to come out firing. So I think it's one of those games where like Indiana shoots 50% from 3.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where like, dude, fucking Ben Matherin's 4 for 4 from 3.
Yeah.
And then like TJ McConnell's 4 of 6. And you get these bench players that are popping off and dropping buckets. So you just seen the track record of the Thunder is that game 3 has been a struggle for them. That's why I love this bet of the Pacers win game 3. You get them at plus 190, or you could take the bet that I gave out at plus 800. They win game 3, and then the Thunder take care of them in 4, 5, and 6 and win the series in 6. And I remember I tweeted out something. It wasn't really an official pick on the show because I said Thunder in 5, but I just remember the better in me was like, bro, everybody's, first of all, no one was giving Indy a chance. Like not one person picked Indiana, and then everyone was picking them in 4 and in 5. And I was like, the better in me should take the plus 490, them to win in 6. I didn't take it, but it was just so many people were like, oh, 4 and 5, they don't have a chance. And I think the Pacers win game 3, bro. Plus 190, and then Thunder take care of business the rest of the way. Because the Thunder are clearly better than them.
Correct.
But I think that's how every game 3 for the Thunder has gone down these playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they have to course correct here. I think they understand the fear that was put into them when it happened with the Nuggets, and I just don't see a way in which this game isn't close. And if you're putting that bet, Oklahoma City to win by 1 to 3 points plus 750. Do they get a buzzer beater? Give them a taste of their own medicine at home. But I don't know if you saw the bet that somebody put in for Halliburton to make a game-winning basket at any point in time in the series was 40-1. We fucking missed that one. I saw that post and I was like, shit, I'm sick. If you could find it, I can't find it here in Vegas, but Shea to hit a game-winning shot at some point in time in the series, and then why not have it be game 3? Because I do think they're going to keep it close. The Thunder, when they did give up in the game versus the Timberwolves specifically, I mean, there's tragic shooting nights, but the way that, you know, the hot hand is rolling with all the role players right now, it's like the perfect storm. I don't feel like it was that way heading into game 3 versus the Timberwolves. But it's now entertaining, even though it was the lowest watched game 1 of the NBA Finals in Finals history, according to the Nielsen ratings, whatever that is.
Bro, I'm so tired about hearing about ratings, bro. Like
the number said so.
No, I know. And it's, you know, and it becomes a point of conversation for like talk shows, right? And even us, like we've talked about it in the past. And my take has just been like, hey, maybe this is the start of a dynasty and we just don't know it. Maybe the Thunder become the next Golden State Warriors. Because I remember like 2014, 2015, ain't nobody give a damn about Steph Curry and the Warriors. No one cared about him. And then you look at it now, you're like, holy shit, where is LeBron in Cleveland and where is Golden State, right? And if you look at it, like Curry was 26, 27. That's how old SGA was, won his first MVP. There's a lot of comparisons between the two. Obviously, Steph is a way crazier shooter, and he also has the moments, right? Like the Curry moment. Like when Curry was going crazy during his whole career, and we even had a moment like later in this season too, where it was like, damn, it was a Steph Curry night.
Yeah,
like he has a 20-point quarter, and just social media would just go crazy. Like, you got to tap into the Warriors game. He might go for 60, right? Like SGA and Curry, like the comps are so similar, bro. SGA is a walking 30 points. All right, he doesn't shoot the 3 as well as Curry, but who the fuck does? Nobody.
Right.
But I just think that it's a lazy argument. I think you need to play things out. It's very similar to what I said about Pat Mahomes, right? Pat Mahomes loses the Super Bowl in the fashion he does. The next day, everyone's like, can't be the GOAT.
Yeah.
Could never, ever be the GOAT. It's like, really? What happens if they win 3 in a row after? Or what happens if, all right, they lost last year, but then this upcoming season, they win the Super Bowl, and then he wins 2 more in the next 4 years. So now he has 5. He can't be the GOAT? Gotta let things play out. And I understand that we're in a time where, like, you need topics. You need to create conversations. Especially when you're a big enough show, people then use your show as a way to react to the conversation you're having, right? So like, I understand it. It's also something where like, I've been a big believer of, hey, if you don't like something, just don't watch it, right? Like
what else is there on TV right now of this caliber?
Bro, but
the NHL, the finals this year for them, it is fun, but they're not playing on the same night. You're
Right.
telling, like, I'm being legitimate, bro, because then how else does the NFL do it week in and week out? Like, if you're a fucking father at home, put on the game for your son. Like, it's bigger than just trying to get them their ratings up. But I mean, it's just like, where is the love for the NBA finals gone? It's tragic. Because that shit, it's exciting. It's a fucking great brand of basketball. The best brand of basketball. There's not a world championship that you're going to see that will produce the level of basketball that you see every single summer in the NBA finals.
Well, the thing with football, we can't be ignorant. It's the betting. It's the fantasy. It's the once a week urgency. Dude, a team loses 4 in a row in the NFL. Dudes get fired. You lose 4 in a row in the NBA, it's like, all right, whatever. Fucking LeBron was sitting for all those games, and Luka didn't suit up. And, you know, we have a 12.5 game lead on second place, so we're chilling now. It's not as crazy where you drop 4 in a row, and if you have a bye week in between that, you haven't won in 6 weeks. Get that seat. Who's the offensive coordinator? Is he the head coach now? Is there an interim? Like, it's just way different. And, you know, I was having this conversation with my buddy Joseph. Shouts to Joseph. He's been on the show a bunch. And we've talked. He sent me this article from the boardroom, and it was like, MLB ratings are up this year. And it's like, all right, it's coming off a Dodgers-Yankees World Series, right? Obviously, You have the two biggest markets. But my question to him, and you know, we didn't even argue. I wouldn't say we argued. We were just debating it. I was like, how much of that has to do with the betting? To your point, there's nothing else on. I know that if I got a no runs first inning bet, I'm probably going to tap in. Or if I took the under 5 innings, I'm probably going to tap in. It creates an interest when you do gamble and you bet on things. And I think that's the biggest appeal to the NFL. I mean, shit, I'm not going to slander it. It's my love for betting in the NFL is what's giving me everything that I have now. So by no means am I knocking that down, but I also understand it too. Like, there's a reason why it's the big appeal.
Yeah. There's one thing that's really helping out baseball. The Savannah Bananas. That's fun TV to watch. Like, no lie, bro. I don't know if you've watched a game.
No, I haven't watched any of it.
You need to sit down and watch a full game, and I think you would be like, they fixed baseball. Dead ass. It is that entertaining. And these guys, it's real games. Like, it's real athletes. They're doing crazy shit. That's helped baseball because I think people watch the Savannah Bananas, they click on baseball, and they're like, why didn't that dude do a backflip when the fly ball came? Are you not good enough to do that? They do that every fucking time. It's pretty sick.
I just, I got to check that out. You gotta send me some highlights because that's always really appealing. But to me, I don't like this ratings argument, bro. I just think like, who the fuck was Kansas City before Mahomes got there? Now they gotta have 7 primetime games. Kansas City ain't a big market, but you get a generational talent that now makes you a big market. Boston, so New England was a bad argument. But like the Patriots weren't what they were until Brady got there.
Right.
They were kind of like a laughingstock. They made a couple Super Bowls and they got smoked in both of them. It's like, bro, you get a generational piece, you then become generational and you become kind of a big market, or you become treated like a big market.
Right.
That's why I've said so many times in the past why I think there's a handful of athletes in every sport that are underpaid. Steph Curry being one of them. And dude's made like $700 million from Golden State in his career. Underpaid. He's underpaid.
Yeah.
You know, Luka with the Mavs before he got traded, like underpaid. Dirk, Kobe's, Derek Jeter. It's like, it's a handful. It's not everybody.
Yep.
It's a handful of guys that now all of a sudden, like, who the fuck is Cincinnati, bro? They got to have 5-6 primetime games. Why? Because they got a stud quarterback. They got a dude that looks the part, acts the part, no controversy, should have won MVP last year if his defense could stop a nosebleed. That's the shit that you become a big market. So to me, I just feel like if you don't want to watch the finals because it's not a big market, then don't watch the finals, bro. Like, I don't watch baseball until the playoffs come around.
Yep.
I don't watch a lot of things until it's popping or it's interesting to me.
For sure.
So that's how I feel about the ratings. And when it's like the world, like I'm a big soccer guy, right? When it's the World Cup and people are like, bro, I don't want to watch it. I'm like, okay, don't watch. Don't watch. But there's moments in time that make things interesting. Look, I'm not the biggest hockey guy at all. I like the Rangers, but I'm a fan of greatness. So I would want to see Edmonton win a Stanley Cup, even though they're getting smoked in Game 3 at the time of recording.
No shit. What's the score?
I think it's like 5-1 last time I checked. So, but they got a guy in McDavid, and it's like, all right, that's a generational talent. I would like to see him win, having no ties to the sport at all, no care, no wager. And that's just how I feel. If you don't want to watch something, just don't watch about it. But don't bitch and moan why you're not watching. Just don't watch, bro. Just don't watch. Change the channel. I always say, if there's something that upsets you, just don't think about it.
It's true. It works.
It works.
I did it earlier. I stopped thinking about it, dude.
You just stop thinking, you think about something else, and then you move on with your day, bro. You move on with your day. Let us know how you guys think the finals are going to play out. Remember, Pacers win Game 3, then Game 4, 5, and 6 goes to the Thunder. That is plus 800, and that is a wager that I've already made, which means I also like plus 190 on the Pacers to win Game 3. Okay, patreon.com/veterans minimum. Thank you all for the support. Remember, $1 a month. That's all we're asking for. $1 a month. It's 3 cents a day. You guys won't even realize this on your statements. It's not going to affect you. Everybody could do it, right? If you pledge for the whole year, you save $2.
Yep.
Give us $10 up front for the year. Thank you so much. You saved two American dollars.
That's crazy, dude.
Crazy.
Just a little bit of support.
A lot of sports books, that's the minimum wager you could make is $2. So you just got a free bet off that. You know what I'm saying? You just saved yourself the hassle, right? Patreon.com/veterans minimum. We're at 73 members, right? And we're trying to 10K our way on Patreon with $1 American dollar a month. That's it. And then we got access to the Discord. We're still going to do contests. We're still going to do giveaways like we've done in the past. And yeah, we're making it affordable and we're making it fun. It's less of a burden for you if you give us $1 than it is, giving out the 20s and the 40s. And we just haven't been able to, I shouldn't say I haven't been able to fulfill those. So patreon.com/veterans minimum.
I'm thinking for a video idea for the Patreon members. It's you and me versus Jory and Isaiah in a game of 21 half-court basketball, and we see who wins. We film it. We maybe get like an MC with a speaker to be like, and Nikki D with the handles and the hezzy. Like I want that level of intensity brought to this. That could be a good little Patreon video right there. Patreon, $1.
Could be $1. That's all we're asking for.
That's it.
George, we actually got a question from someone in the Discord.
Yes.
And then we'll get into some NFL. Thoughts on tipping culture? How do you feel about tipping culture, bro? I feel like it's been a pretty polarizing topic on social media. How do you feel about it?
Well, I feel like there's certain places that are always going to get a tip, dude. Dutch Bros, it's already pre-selected. It's the $1 pre-selected because they do a great job of making the coffee every morning. So I've established that relationship and rapport with them, and that's locked in. Now, there's other places that, like, if you've never done anything for me, if you've never made me a coffee, if this is the first time you're feeding me this food, I need to see you work before you point out the iPad to me, and I have to make the selection on whether or not to give you 20%, 22%, or 25% on a $5 fucking purchase. Or the custom amount. That's the part that aggravates me, because you should know your place. And there's certain places that they don't have the, hey, leave us a tip. And they should. Roberto's past midnight, they need a bigger fucking tip sign or a better way to tip these people that are feeding our drunk asses late at night. They would rake in the money. And especially with Trump's new bill, no tax on tips. Bro, I've been making a lot of fucking money. So I understand the value of tips, but I don't think that everybody who asks for tips knows, you know, that they have to put forth effort. You know, it's not just like a fucking a handout. And that's the part that irks me. What about you?
I couldn't disagree with you more.
Okay.
I don't think I should tip you on a coffee order. I don't think so. As someone that has made 1 million coffees in my life,
Yeah.
I've never served someone the coffee and then been like, no, we have a little tip jar, which, by the way, I'm more likely to tip you if there's a tip jar as opposed to you being like, for 10%, 50%.
By the way, you're giving me too much eye contact right now. It's always the iPad and
that's even better.
That's the iPad, and I can't even fathom looking at you making this decision right now.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking look at me.
That's even
Look at me.
You're giving me even more reason not to tip you. But this is like, you gave me a cold brew. Let's be
0.
now. If I go to a restaurant and I sit down, absolutely, I'm an over tipper. When people are like, you got to give a percentage of the tax, and I'm like, listen, bro. Most of the times, I just round up what I think is like a fair number, and it's always like I'm like a 30-40% tipper. I'd be given a lot more than is like expected.
Right.
And even if the service blows, I'm still going to do it. Listen, I delivered pizzas for the longest time. When someone gave me $5 or more, I was like, oh my God, I love this person.
Yep.
Right? I understand it. But this, no. If there's a tip jar, bro, I go to, when I would go back in New York City and I'd go to like the delis and the bodegas and like, you know, I get a Gatorade and some shit and it's like $8.50, $1.50, I'll just throw it in the jar.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're not over there like, no, I'm not doing it. I tip my barber, my waiter.
Barber's good.
I don't tip on takeout. No, I don't tip on takeout. I don't tip on like,
You're not giving me the service I'm going to pick up.
yeah, I'm going, you're making my coffee. I'm not, no. A bartender? Yeah, absolutely. You know, you have a table and you're getting bottle service? Absolutely. You tip. But no, bro. I'm not. And then I think the way they go about it is so rude and disrespectful. To your point, though.
Yeah. I can't with that.
I'm not doing it.
I can't with that. And here's the thing too. So I'm now analyzing all the places where I do leave tips. The dispensary for me, boy, do they have they got a stranglehold on you, because in order to use your card, they have to treat it like it's an ATM transaction. So they'll round up and then they give you 3 ones and 50 cents back. It's like, bro, I just spent $220. What's like, just fucking, here you go, you know? And they rake in the cash.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily do anything for me. But
and the other thing I like that bartenders do, they actually did this to me on Saturday. I ordered a Casamigos on the rocks. It was like $30, right? And the first time that I order it, they bring back 21s, 5s, 10. It was like no big bills. The next time I go, I give 100 and I go, yo, let me get 60 back. They gave me 320s. Because it's like they heard how much I'm going to tip them.
yep.
Let me not be an asshole and give this guy 5s. Because that's the enticement to tip you.
Of course.
Right? You're like, oh, I got these small bills. Like, whatever. It's cool.
Yeah.
But dude, like, I'm telling you, anytime I go to a bar, the first drink I get, I get a Corona, $8, take a 20. Yo, I'm good. This is for you for the night.
Yeah.
You know how quick I get drinks after? Yep. Got you, bro. And then 2 beers later, yo, it's on the house. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It's definitely the way to go if you want premium service. But like the things that have like valet, you get a tip. I need to see you hustling. Like these valet workers that are walking 10 steps. I can't, bro, give me the keys. I don't need you to pull this up. I see my fucking car. Give me the keys. You did a good job watching over it. No tip. But if I see that, when you see the valet guy that's fucking sweating, that guy gets a tip.
I'll tell you another one. You go to a car wash, the dudes with the towel that towel down the car, leave something.
Yeah.
Leave something.
I've never experienced that, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. It's popping. They appreciate it too.
For sure. I'm just like a drive off kind of guy. Like the car is just going to get air dried.
Yo, listen, I get it. But there's some places like, I know in the past, especially when I lived in New York and I would take the car and I get a car wash, I would end up just tipping them on the way out.
Yeah.
Every time. They appreciate it.
Strip clubs, even though I've never been to one.
Definitely tip.
Only tips.
Actually, it's all tips.
Is it tips or are you paying for a service? Explain that to me.
This is one of the reasons, John, why I said you should not have the audio outside. So now we've established that. Listen, I've dabbled a little bit. I think you pay for the service, and if they do a good job, you leave a little extra.
Okay.
No one ever is.
But there's no menu. There's
but like no one is ever upset with you if you give them more than what they expected.
Right.
So a girl gives you a dance, and sometimes it's per song, sometimes it's for their, as you know, if it's 10, 20, 30 minutes. Depends on the establishment that you go to. You could be like, yo, you wanted 50 here, it takes 60.
Right.
You know, buy yourself something nice with this one.
Have a chicken finger. You're the chicken finger guy.
You can have a cold brew on the house. You know what I mean? Like, it all depends. It all depends. But yeah, I'm a big believer of over tipping people because also like I grew up in the business of where, you know, especially when you work with tips, like, bro, I really believe that like when you graduate high school, you should do a summer working at a restaurant, a pizzeria, like somewhere where it's like you're either delivering, you're taking out, you're a waitress, you're a waiter, you're a host, something that works with tips and makes you understand and appreciate money, at least from my personal experience.
For sure.
Because now I still think of it to this day when I do an edit, when I produce a show, when I come in here, it's like, damn, bro, I got to drive to the Wynn just for this 1 hour. But then I'm like, damn, I used to have to work 8 hours to make what I'm about to make now. Perspective.
Yeah.
Right. And that comes from like the experience of working in that field. So I think you should over tip. I'm a big believer in over tipping.
Over tip when the service is there. I think we all have eyes, but like, let's stop blindly tipping. Like, let's take it. Let's set a standard for yourself. If you don't meet that standard, you don't get tipped. Unless you're Dutch Bros for me. They get a tip every time, dude.
Listen, bro, I'll be honest with you. One of my friends works at a Starbucks here. I train with him. When he's my barista, I leave $1. That's my dog. But like everyone else, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And if you're a really attractive girl, you're Hispanic, probably gonna tip also. Yo soy fiesta. You know what I'm saying?
You make sure she knows too. Like even if she does like one of these, you're like, you did amazing today. Here's $5 for you, sweetheart. You're not getting away without making eye contact with me.
Yo, let me ask you this, bro.
All right.
I was playing, I went and I cashed the bet one time at a sports book. Cause you know, like oftentimes people tip the people that, you know, at the cashier.
Oh, for sure.
They'll tip you, right? Yeah. How do you feel about tipping dealers and the cashier when you've lost, but then you go to cash your bet? There was one time I went and I cashed a $500 ticket and I got torn into shreds that weekend. It was down like $1,500. But the last bet that I had made, I won the $500. So when I went and I cashed it, they gave me $500. I didn't even leave a cent.
Yeah. I think in the future, you just have to tell them. Like, if anybody understands bad runs, it's the dude that's making all the fucking bets, seeing all these people every day, paying out all these people. And a majority of the time, dude, I mean, my uncle was a ticket taker for a long time, and he would tell me that you aren't expecting low-level bettors to leave anything. What you're expecting for is a heavy hitter that has class to come in and take care of you in a big way to make up for all the other people that didn't leave something. But you should always leave something when you are cashing in a bet, in my opinion, just for the luck factor. Like, it's a curse. I literally feel like if you didn't do it, like at least you probably thought about it. You're like, fuck, it's a rough weekend for me. I just cashed 500. I should have left it. Just the acknowledgement, I think, gets you away. If you're like, take the money and you walk off, Bro, you might go on the coldest cold streak of all time.
I went over to the Orleans because they have Boyd Sports over there, and I had a bet. I had a soccer bet for the Champions League. On one app I lost 500, on the other app I won 480, so I'm still down. So when I go and I cash, this poor woman, I felt so bad. But the reason why I bring this up is because of the story I'm gonna tell you. She's cashing it out, and she did the whole like 5s and 10s and singles. I collect the money, I go, miss, I got fucked pretty bad this weekend. I just walked away. I was like, yo, bro, I can't, man. I can't. You know, sometimes when I go and I play table games, the first thing I'll do, honestly, like anytime my buddies come into town, that's the only time I'll play table games like roulette or craps. I'll tip before I even gamble. I'm like, yo, dealer here, I need 200 in chips and $20 for you. Good omen. I feel like it's a good omen.
Right.
Because then if whatever I end up winning, I've already tipped them. And if I end up losing, I don't feel bad that like they wasted their time kind of thing.
For
right?
sure.
So a nice $20, maybe 10, depending on how I'm feeling, is cool. Or I'd be like, yo, this 50 is from the table, from us 6 right here. Like, you know, bring us luck, good omen, good vibes.
Right.
You know, I'm a believer in that too.
That's that's a Vegas pro tip right there, because you will definitely tip more once you hit that big bet. You fucking, you know, getting paid out $400 in those chips that literally you have no context, bro. They're just chips.
Yeah.
You throw 7 at them, and
then you gotta also remember, and that's why I was saying that thing before we get into football. That's why I was saying that thing about like you working in a field that requires tips for your livelihood. You appreciate the dealer and then the delivery guy and the busboy and the bottle service, because like that's how they really make their money.
Right.
Dude, I was getting paid like $3 an hour when I worked at that pizzeria. Definitely some like hardcore Italian shit back in the like 15 years ago, but they'd give us like $3 on the on the books. Super illegal, but like you'd make so much on the tips where like it weighed out to like $25 an hour, and you're like, okay, cool, bet, no problem. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just think you should tip. You know, don't be a piece of shit and don't be cheap.
Yeah.
You know? All right. NFL news. George, Steelers got their quarterback.
You called it.
I called it. I've been saying it since, I don't know, March, since free agency. They couldn't go into the year with Mason Rudolph. They couldn't go into the year with Will Howard being the quarterback as a rookie. For as much chaos as Aaron Rodgers brings to the table, that is not a bad guy to learn the game from. Now, if I'm Will Howard and he's like, hey, man, you want to go on this fucking retreat with me this weekend? I'd probably be like, nah, dude, I'm cool. You're going to end up having me with a tinfoil hat on and talking all this crazy nonsense about flat earth and shit.
Right.
I'm not really cool with that. But if he's like, hey, man, when they roll coverage, your X receiver and this and that, check out of this. Like, yeah, bro, who better than a fucking 3-4-time MVP and a Super Bowl champion?
Yeah.
People forget, because he's had so much chaos around him, the talent he is. I don't want to waste too much time. I feel like you haven't had the ability to express how you feel about it.
Yeah.
I've been talking about this for the last 3 months. I love the move. I think it was the only place he could go where he can't tell Tomlin what to do. They've already shut down the whole like, yeah, we're not bringing in Lazard.
Yeah.
We're not bringing in your O's. Like, no. You're a Pittsburgh Steel. We're doing it the Steeler way.
For sure.
And yo, for 1 year with what the team is, not a bad hire. I like it. I'll get into the odds in just a little bit, but how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers going there?
Aaron Rodgers gets to play for a team for the first time in a while that actually is put together. When he went to the Jets, it was just a level of glazing that, looking back on it now, like what Hard Knocks did that season that he tore his Achilles. I mean, dude, we were literally like, I've never seen an NFL player go to a team and just be worshipped like this. Like, all the fucking players are trying to literally get on his good side so that way you could be, oh, Aaron likes me. You know, that's the way it felt. And not only from the players, but the fucking coaches. It was kind of gross. So now he goes to the Steelers, in which he doesn't have to play Mr. Fix-It. He just has to play Mr. Shut Up and just do really good at quarterbacking and not necessarily distract the team. And you guys can win a good deal of games. I don't necessarily think that DK Metcalf is going to look like what I think we thought he was going to look like with the Steelers. I think there is going to be a long progression. I'm not saying that they're never going to be good. This duo, it's going to be like week 7 and DK gets a 2-touchdown game and we're like, where the hell's this been all year? You know what I mean? But it's just and that goes for any quarterback that's coming into a new team and the new receiver, and DK's in the same exact position. Other than that, bro, like Calvin Austin, Robert Woods, Pat Freiermuth, I think is your second best option next to DK Metcalf.
For sure.
Which is not the worst thing in the world. And Jaylen Warren really, caught fire there at the end of last season. It was him and Najee that were doing the 1-2 combo. And I think they will experience success, but man, and I tried to get Aaron Rodgers to come to the Saints. Arguably one of the easiest divisions to win this upcoming year. You just went to the fucking gauntlet, homie. Like, welcome to it. You left let's say the NFC North, right? Where you had to battle the fucking Lions and the Vikings and the Bears that were dog shit. Then you go to a division in which you're somewhat leveling up with Buffalo. And now you're going into your 40th year of living and you have to face some of the toughest defenses that there are. Like the Baltimore Ravens defense is known for being physical and tough. The fucking Bengals have a sack leader, it seems like, every other year. I mean, if it wasn't Trey Hendrickson this year, the year before that with DJ Reader, like they are just producing crazy defensive talent. The Browns, what is Myles Garrett going to do when he comes around the corner and he sees Aaron Rodgers? Not once, but twice. And in the snow, oh my God. It doesn't get easy. And so my whole entire rant here is I wish he would have came to the Saints. That's it. I think that they will be. I'm honestly not ready to make my prediction on the team yet. I mean, their win total either has them falling above or below 500 right at the middle, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to want to have it on his legacy that he fucking tarnished Mike Tomlin's over 500 streak. So I'm still undecided on that bet.
Their over 8.5 wins is plus 115 right now. So if you believe that Tomlin is going to continue the streak, you get a plus number on that. Remember, win totals, division bets, more so win totals. A lot of casuals don't like betting that because you got to put up the money today and then you don't get cashed out until months later. It's why a lot of people don't like futures, where I strongly disagree. I love futures. I think if I only bet futures in my life, I'd be way more successful in the sports betting space because I crush on futures. It's when you get caught up in the nightly stuff and the weekly stuff where that's where you could take a hit. But they're at 8.5. Look, for them to win the division, it's plus 550. For them to win the AFC, it's 22-1. For them to make the playoffs, it's plus 150. And they're 46-1 odds to win the Super Bowl. To your point, you got to play Burrow and Lamar now twice.
Yep.
You're also in the AFC. So you're playing a Herbert, a Allen, a Mahomes, your boy Bo Nix.
Yep.
You're playing Geno Smith, who I like with the Raiders.
Yep.
You have, it's no difference than when he was in the AFC with the Jets, but you're playing Josh Allen twice. Well, now you got to play Lamar and Joe Burrow twice, who are on that level, right? Like, I really think there's a tier 1 in the NFL. It's Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, and Allen. That's your tier 1. And then from there is tier 2, right? So him going to the Steelers, I think it was the only place that he could go. And, for 1 year, maybe they really like Will Howard, right? National champion coming out of Ohio State. Shout out to Maurice Clarett. Maybe they like him a lot. And they're like, look, you're nowhere near ready. Let's get in Rodgers. listen. No ayahuasca with him.
Yeah.
No, like, hey man, come
Listen, but not too closely.
Yeah, no. Listen on the field.
Listen on the field.
If he asks you to come to dinner or do a podcast, no. Delete the text, delete the evidence, get the fuck out of there. But when it comes to being a football mind, there ain't many other guys you would want to learn from.
For sure.
So I like the move. The reason why I haven't talked too much about it is because there's every episode almost we've been talking football. This has been brought up, and I like it. I think it was the only place, and both parties needed each other. And you got to remember, it's the Steelers. One of the reasons why Hard Knocks showed us how much glazing they were doing of Aaron Rodgers is because look at what the Jets have had for 40, 50 years. Not much.
Yeah.
And then you get Rodgers. That's why people were treating him that way.
For sure.
So I like the move. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about this move, because I think it's really interesting and I think it's a good move. I think it's a really good move. George, before we wrap, I want to give a shout out to Chris93 in the Discord. He got married.
Oh, shit. Congratulations, Chris.
Yeah, buddy. Congrats on the sex as well.
Yeah.
We know that a lot of people believe they have to wait until marriage. We don't know if you did, but now confirmed not a virgin.
Confirmed, dude. Confirmed. Unless he's into that. Unless Chris is just on a whole nother level of semen retention, even after marriage with his lady. Like, no, I'm saving it for when we decide to conceive. And so that way, Nick, first time in, last time in, if you just want one kid, and then he could get back to it.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know, Chris.
Yeah. Shouts to Chris, man. Always showing love on the social media. Been a Patreon member for a while. And I forgot to give you the shout out last time, but this time we definitely got to it. Okay, George, I want to end with this. I drove to Arizona this weekend and I put a bet in.
That only means one thing, Nick. It was a big bet, and it means two things. Something that you definitely couldn't put in any of our weak-ass sports books here in Vegas.
No, you cannot. You cannot. I drove to Arizona, and I put this bet that we're going to see right now.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I don't need to wait much longer. I know I've correctly picked the last 3 NFL Offensive Players of the Year in a row. Yes, it's archived. Yes, it's facts. I love Bijan Robinson this year, 20-1 to win Offensive Player of the Year. And then my MVP is Matthew Stafford. George, do you know that in the last 3 years, 2 of the last 3 years, I've picked the MVP and the Offensive Player of the Year in the same year?
I do know this.
It happened last year.
I do know this. Yeah.
And then I had Mahomes and Jefferson 3 years ago, right? And you know, this is kind of it's become the award. The Offensive Player of the Year award is it's my award, and I have a crystal ball. It's gonna be Bijan Robinson this year. All right, Michael Penix is gonna open up the offense. What's crazy is when Penix came in against the Commanders, they ran a stop and go with Bijan Robinson, and he missed them by like 15 yards. And I text all my friends, "Yo, he's going number 1 in fantasy next year, and he's Offensive Player of the Year because it was his first start."
Yeah.
He's going to probably have 1,000. They're going to be dumping the ball off to him too to keep Penix comfortable in there. And then I've expressed my feelings about Matthew Stafford. I think the best move any team made this offseason was Devontae Adams going over there. You got Devontae Adams stepping in for Cooper Kupp. We saw how dynamic the Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford combination was. Devontae Adams still got it. I told you I spent the whole weekend last weekend watching fucking Jets footage of last year. And I still feel like Adams is a top 10 quarterback. Top 10 wide receiver. I think Rodgers is a top 10 quarterback. And I parlayed both of them. And that's what you see on the screen.
It's generational, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put more to it, but this is just the first couple. You know, it was a free bet. And I was like, fuck it. Why not?
Hey.
I took a road trip with some friends. And I was like, listen, any state I go into, the first thing I do, like when I land in New York, I text my mom, "Hey, I landed." And then I'm firing up the apps, baby. Do we got any match deposits? Do we got any reload bonuses? That's what you got to do. So that's what I put. How do you feel about that one?
I love it. I was on the Rams hype with you, even from last playoffs till now, where it's just like this team is it in the NFC. They are of the echelon that champions are made of. Sean McVay too. I mean, it was weird. To 2 years ago, there was the rumblings of, is he done coaching? And he's quickly stomped that out and helped build one of the best teams in the NFC, underrated teams. They were legitimately a correct pass protection call away from beating the Eagles. And even Isaiah, a diehard Eagles fan, came in the next day and was like, yeah, no, they were definitely the team that we worried the most about. And
they're the only team that pushed Philly.
Pushed them.
Like, legit. Like,
it came down the last drive, bro.
Bro, if you go back and you look at and actually, let's not, your boy Baker in Tampa, they beat him pretty handily in the regular season. But every other loss was Jalen Hurts got hurt against Washington. And then Barkley drops that pass on like the 2-yard line where I thought Offensive Player of the Year was going to erupt when they played the Falcons, which we talk about every year. There's like 4 or 5. How the fuck did they lose to that team games? That was one of them. Falcons losing to the Eagles. And then the other one was the Rams, even though the Rams didn't lose to them. Remember, that was like a tie game going into halftime, and then a blizzard hit Philly.
Yeah.
And then even on that last drive, you're like, oh my God, Stafford's about to do it again.
Hit Puka on the backside.
And they have, look, I love their weapons, right? They got Tyler Higbee. They got Puka Nacua. They got Kieran Williams in the backfield. They got Tutu Atwell that they re-signed. You throw in Devontae Adams. You throw in the McVay factor. You throw in a really good offensive line that they've been building on. And then I think they're going to have the team success. You've been harping on their defense.
Jared Verse Defensive Player of the Year will be one of the bets that I make when we go to Arizona at some point in time this summer.
Yeah.
That parlayed in, because it's tough. I mean, we want Stafford for the MVP. I love those numbers. Jared Verse is not going to warrant that. I'm sure he's already... I don't have the odds in front of me right now, but I find it hard to believe that he's anything more than 15-1. He was a fucking dog last year. You see how big Jordan Mailata's ass is. He pancaked him. And Mekhi Becton in the same game.
I'll tell you right now. How much did you say his odds were?
No more than 15-1.
It's 15-1. Good call. Getting good, bro.
I am.
Getting good, man.
I am. I can't. Myles Garrett in there?
Micah Parsons first, plus 650. Myles Garrett, plus 700. Aiden Hutchinson, 9-1, as well as Max Crosby and TJ Watt at 9-1. Then you got Will Anderson, 13-1, and then you got your boy Jared Verse at 15-1.
Bro, by the way, the disrespect for Sexy Dexy. I mean, I think the Giants are going to be fucking cold this year. And he was a stud last year, bro.
50-1. Yeah, it's hard though as a defensive tackle. You're not getting. You need sacks or interceptions.
I agree with you, but when your defensive line is stacked and the offensive line has to make a choice, like, he's going to be freed up. He's going to be in a lot more one-on-one situations than you'd like to think.
Yeah.
'Cause I find it hard to believe that you don't try to double team Burns over him.
Yeah, I don't know. We're
getting too far into the week here, but we like the Rams. I liked Bijan too. In a shit division, the Falcons should run wreck shop, especially if the Bucks. It should be them and the Bucks right at the end, and they'll end up playing week 17 or 18. I'm almost certain. I don't have the schedule up in front of me right now that will decide the division, but. It's a division in which you can compete. You're going to put up a lot of points. The defenses are starting to age, and Bijan at this moment in time, it's beyond getting your feet wet, right? Third year, he's stockier now than when you go back and you watch his highlights from year one, where he's literally having guys juked out of their shoes. He's one of the most versatile backs that the NFL has seen. He's like if Jahmyr Gibbs and Alvin Kamara were shorter. Same talent level, same speed. And the way just they bounce off people. I'm a big fan of it. I mean, look, last year he had 431 receiving yards with 1,456 rushing yards. So creeps up on the 2K from scrimmage. I think he destroys that this year. I think he could lead the league in rushing. I think their offensive line is pretty good, and I think Michael Penix opens up a lot of things that Kirk Cousins couldn't, right? Like,
they had no passing game, bro. Remember, we were talking about Kirk Cousins like halfway through the year. Like,
when are they going to
two games that he played against Tampa Bay and like one of the Saints games, I think, if you took those away, he had like 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and everything else. But he had those 3 games where he threw like, there was the one Thursday night game that went crazy. Him and Baker got into a shootout on Thursday night or maybe Monday night. I remember it was a primetime game, but like, bro, he was holding them back. And now you still have Drake London over there. And I think that they're going to open up a couple things. So I love this bet, man. I'm going to continue to just, anytime I have some leftover money, and if I could find myself in Arizona again, which I will, I'm going to do it, bro. We need one of this. We need one of these for the brand.
Oh, dude, 100%. I need one of these. I
can't believe I didn't do this last year, bro.
Nick, I want that. We said it last show. Rollies are inbound upon this hitting.
Yeah.
So it'll be big. It kind of worries me just a little bit after looking at their depth chart where I'm like, people are going to be keying in on them. I wish there was maybe one more bigger target to go to for the Falcons. Yeah. Drake London doesn't necessarily shout, hey, we got to make sure we have 2 on this guy. No disrespect. But when Bijan's in the backfield, eyes are going to be glued on him.
Nah, I feel you, bro. I feel you, man. All right. We can wrap up. This was fun. Remember, we're only going once a week. We have about, I think, 3 more Mondays we'll be filming. Mm-hmm. So those will be the episodes, and then we'll have some stuff over the summer that you guys could tap into, and we will do our full official, so we can have it archived and easier to track. Even though if you guys have been following the content, like, my MVP pick isn't going to change. My offensive player of the year isn't going to change. We just want to have it all correctly formatted, and George will have his picks as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be dropping over the summer. We'll try to have some special guests on for that. But yeah, that was a show. Leave us a rating, review, subscribe. Tag us on social if you guys are listening to the show. Follow us everywhere there is on social media. We are everywhere. And at Nick Day is 10 as you can find me. George, where can they find you?
If you could find me, you win. And if you've made it this far into the show, the bet that will hit this upcoming weekend, the U.S. Open at Oakmont, Bryson DeChambeau, 7-1. Put it in. That's it.
I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.